telling me that I didn't have an opinion, from them not believing that I should have an opinion, and this and that and the other thing. Did it stop you? Like, did it stop you? Like, you were told not to have an opinion. You were told you couldn't form opinions. You were told that you couldn't, that you didn't have one because you were young. But did any of that stop you from forming opinions and from having opinions and from growing and becoming who you are? Light.
Welcome to Mead Talk on this fantastic, incredible episode. We will introduce our guest in 2 seconds, but first you must know the rules of Mead Talk. In order to enter the realm of Mead Talk, you have to at least consume 3 glasses of mead.
Listen, can I interject real fast?
Yes.
I've been thinking about this actually. As people who are regular everyday participants in your fine beverage, 3 meads is, you just kind of getting started. Some people, 3 meads will make you just this side of shitty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like it's not really a relative. Y'all talk about it like it's a relative thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not. And I just want to put that disclaimer in there that 3 meads for you is not the same as 3 meads for somebody. I mean, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm straight.
Yeah.
But
it loosens you up. It gets you ready to,
sure.
have a good conversation.
I just think that it's important to know that, objects in the mirror may be shittier than they appear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, continue. Sorry.
So,
I feel bad about interrupting.
No, I'm glad.
Sorry.
I'm glad. No,
You
that's a valid point.
So, okay.
Hey, we accept all perceptions on here.
Yeah.
And we discuss them.
Yeah,
so.
we only have an hour, so if you want to go ahead and get on with the rest of what you were talking about, that'd be great.
Totally.
Thanks. I wasn't talking to you, sir.
As you can tell, this is going to be a fantastic mead talk. So, but yeah, you have to drink 3 glasses of mead to enter the realm of Mead Talk. We are all at least at minimal 3 glasses in. Some of us are more than others, but you know what? That's just how it goes. And so thank you for joining us and, finding out what comes out of mead drinking mouths, because it's quite interesting. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So tonight's guest is the infamous, the myth, the legend, the man of the hour, Mr. Will Chilowinski.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
All right.
Thanks. Hi.
Also known as the Chub Father, which most of you know him as.
I prefer Will. That's great.
But you have a fine establishment just around the corner from us that serves some of the most delicious food on earth. I've been there many of times. Amen to that. Right?
Yes.
And but we've got a few questions for you.
All right.
And we love you as a person, as a friend, as someone that has, helped us along our journey as much as you can, and continually is just
that's
like
kind.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
And
that's the only person I can be, so that's cool.
Yeah, you've been so awesome to us, and I know our setup isn't as cool as yours on the radio show that you have, but
well, but listen. I pay a lot more than you do. If I'm being honest, things are not relative.
I understand.
We've been through this already.
Well,
but this is awesome, and I'm stoked. I think that I've pretty much watched them all.
Oh, cool.
So,
hell yeah.
So, I didn't even know I was going to do this. So I'm not like kissing your ass or anything. I actually, I watched with the intention of actually watching.
That's cool, man. We appreciate it. We do. Yeah. We like to, provide an atmosphere where everybody can get on. That's why. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention, everybody in the audience can get involved as you will, interject, ask questions. There is a mic that Terry loves to do a mic check for us when we get started, but she hasn't done that lately or tonight. Can we get a mic check on that mic for us? There it is. There's
testing.
There it is.
Testing.
Awesome.
Testing.
So if you want to
So what's being delivered over there? There was a fabulous food truck outside. What's it called?
Momo's Cajun Eats.
Momo's Cajun Eats, and it's absolutely delicious.
It is fantastic.
Anna, what did you order? Okay, never mind. Don't just
crab cakes, crispy dill bacon cheeseburger. That thing is phenomenal.
Come drink some drink and eat some food.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you for that.
Of course.
So how did you get started in food and why? Because you make some of the most incredible food, and it's not just and from my understanding, it's not just at your restaurant, right? It's like at your house, everywhere you go, like food, yeah, it just like emanates from your body.
I carry a lot of weight around with me. And I figure if I'm gonna expend the energy to carry all this flub, that it should at least have been good and memorable.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna be fat, I might as well be happy. And bad
Truer
food
words
sucks.
have never been said.
Bad food sucks. So I try to just eat a bunch of good food. And
I'm pretty sure you should say get fat with good food.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can Google it.
I don't know, man. I come from a large Polish family.
Yeah.
My dad had, my dad's family was large. He had 8 or 9 brothers and sisters, so there were a lot of them and cousins and whatever. And initially, I wanted to do, like manly stuff, and I hung out in the garage while half the family who were Republicans talked about the other half of the family who were, card-carrying members of the union and just this whole thing. And
that's an interesting dynamic.
They argued about the best way to fix something. There was drinking and smoking and cursing.
Wait,
and
fix
whatnot.
Something politically or like physically?
All of it.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay.
The idea was to fix whatever it was that they were tinkering on.
It more efficiently than the other one could.
Right.
Yeah.
But as the evening went on and the Iron City beer count grew more, the topics changed, and I just really didn't fucking like it. It just really didn't appeal to me. So I realized that if I went and hung out with the chicks, that I got doted over. I got to eat stuff before everybody else, and that nobody treated me like a little shit. I was like cute and fat and whatnot. Yeah, all that. Yeah. And so,
hell yeah.
I was drawn to the kitchen early, and that's just kind of all grew from there. The Lord told me when I was 7 years old that feeding people would be my responsibility, and easy bake oven and helping pay bills and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. And yeah. Feed the people. Yeah, man.
It's a badass slogan. Actually, what happened? Am I high as fuck right now?
No, but it's actually the way it sounded.
Robert.
When God came down on cloud when I was 7, he was like,
That's what it sounded like.
William,
I
you will
think-
feed
Okay, I think
all
you
of these
plugged.
hungry bitches.
I think you plugged into the wrong one, Robert.
I went to number 2.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's why I'm so loud. I'm gonna ask you another question. I'm gonna fix this while you're doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw on a post just recently. I forgive me, but I took the picture from it and posted for this.
Right. I don't make those, right? I have people
No,
for
I
that.
know.
Okay.
It's a great picture though.
Thanks.
I love the tattoos,
Appreciate
the feed
it.
the people. I love the 2 fish, the loaves of bread, and
Yes.
everything. That is
Yes.
an awesome reference.
Yes.
But it said something about you, was it 16 years old or is it 6 years old, love for food or something like that. And it just turned into this community effort. And you've done so much. You've done a lot for us. But I know you don't see it that way, but we're really, we are really excited to have you around because I don't think we'd be where we're at without,
That's crazy talk.
No.
Y'all are awesome at your job, and that's why you're around. You know what I'm saying? No, man. Listen, that's very kind and unnecessary. Y'all are good folks, and you have a good product, and the more people who know, the more people will know what I know, and that's that y'all are good folks, and you have a great product, and the market's going to dictate that you succeed, just like it did me, and it's going to be awesome.
True.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful and humbled by your words, but I didn't do shit. Y'all did. Yeah, y'all handled your business, and I'm proud of you. So, what's the next question?
You brought us on. So
Good job, guys. Moving on.
you brought us on your show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course. Sounds great, by the way.
Do a mic check.
Mic check. Yours is good. You're just echoey.
It's an echo, so I'm gonna have to figure that out while you guys chat.
This is the best podcast I've ever been on.
I know, dude.
It's the first one. It's the first one.
Do you know what our budget is? Like $5. Yeah.
Did you get a loan? They give you a good rate on that.
We did. It was a 7.5%.
Okay.
We may pay it off.
Okay.
In
There we
20
go.
years.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm back, y'all.
This is
It wasn't one of those arms.
No, it's not one of the. No, you never do an arm.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
Never do adjustable.
Right.
Never.
Well, let me tell you what. You stretched that. What they gave you, you stretched it, and you made it iconic.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to give a place where people could actually come together, and even the audience could get involved, because I've never seen a podcast really, and it's more like a radio show except for it's live, right?
Right.
And we do have a phone jack on this thing, so eventually we will hook up a phone where people can call in and stuff, and we will do it
Hell
live.
yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, we'll eventually get to where we can do it live and stuff. We just haven't got there yet, but the getting the audience involved has been really fun.
Sure.
A lot of the audience has their opinions, their life experience that we've never experienced before. Like one of our next Mead Talks is going to be with this guy right over here, and he's a lawyer.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to be talking about the Constitution.
Nice.
And he's got a lot to input on that, and it's going to be really fun, right? And so we just like to get all walks of life on here and talk about all different things.
Right.
Now, so I learned recently.
Can we hold on? Pause.
Yeah.
I'm just going to interject just for a second.
Totally.
I think we need to talk to his wife too, because she brought up DNA, and I'm pretty sure.
That's right. We had this
she's
talk.
in the scientific field.
We had this
probably
talk.
Need to get her on as well, because
My goodness.
She said something about DNA. I said, well, what about RNA? I said, I think RNA is slightly more important. And she took a very slow sip and put it down. And I kind of was like, well.
I think that the junk DNA is actually more important.
Yeah. Slightly off topic. Different Mead Talk. Will's like, yep.
I'm with it, man. I'm here for the ride. Let's start some DNA. I'm gonna learn me on something.
Right,
You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
Now, I want to put this out there in the world because, and I don't know how much you've marketed this or put it out there, because you were talking about doing a show and possibly putting this out there, but your music experience is pretty wild.
Man. It's been nice. It's been some cool places. Did some. I mean, not that many cool places, I mean, we did the, some of the circuit-ish things and around and whatnot and what for.
And so for anybody out there, if you walk into his restaurant, you'll probably get it immediately. For some reason, I didn't even freaking get it, because you walk around and you see all the records and all the different things all over your walls and stuff like that, the music references and everything. And then we got to talking one day, and you were talking about all your cool freaking music experience and all the places that you've been and what you've done and stuff, and now what you're doing currently. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, man. You can. We just dropped. My brother Old Timer and I just dropped an EP called "The Generator of Dharma." Dharma is the flip side of karma. It's the positive side of things. It's the good things that happen when you do good things.
It's the yin and the yang.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. I've heard some of it. It's really good.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Hold on a second. I'm getting a call. Let me just send this person to.
Okay.
Hold on. Sorry, I can't talk.
We don't
right
want
now.
President Biden on that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So sorry. I sent them away. Yeah, and so you can check it out on all the places you download your music, and it's just some old school positive hip hop. I had some shit I wanted to say, and I said it. And we're working on a whole record. We're opening a recording studio right down the road.
Man. And now, hey, I've seen you perform Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just hear it. I have seen it.
It's pretty amazing.
I don't want to sound like Rob Bass, but like I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone. You know what I'm saying?
Look.
Yeah.
Prince, R.I.P. When this man gets on stage and does some Purple Rain.
I try to channel him. I feel like I have
Oh, it's not a try.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you're like one step under him and due for a promotion, right?
Like I have
a channel.
Skinny little man in heels inside of me.
It's like you've got him on speed dial.
Yeah, that's my homeboy.
It's like PR Ints. Let's go.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my biggest musical influences.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
It's such a when you're in the room with Eric Clapton and George Harrison and things to that effect, and people are like, "Well, what's it like being the best guitar player ever?" And they're like, "Ask Prince."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Nah.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Did you know that every room in the Paisley Palace is wired for sound? So he could be pinching one off and be like, "Yo, cue me up."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a good idea, though. You get your best ideas like in the shower, in the bathroom,
Absolutely.
dude. When I'm driving, like I get the best ideas, dude. I just turn my so when I die, my wife's gonna have like thousands of recordings on my phone of just me like singing random stuff that I just thought of in the middle of driving.
Have you made any videos to like set them to post like after you're dead?
Not
like
yet.
After you think you're gonna have been dead.
Yeah.
Just like random things to like pop up.
The unreleased.
Yeah, not yet. You know,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of stuff though. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff recorded.
Just saying, you should consider
Yeah.
uploading for future posting, like 35, 40 years from now.
Have y'all
Yeah, I
ever seen the
understand.
movie Tumbleweed?
No.
Fantastic movie.
You're
sounds
always
like
mentioning movies on here,
I
aren't
know.
you?
there's a lot of truth in movies. So this movie's about, it has what's his name? Jason Sudeikis, and I can't remember the actress's name, but she was married to a gentleman that did folk music, and he was up and coming. He was very popular, and all of a sudden he just kind of passed. Like they don't know if he committed suicide or if he just slipped off a cliff or what, but he had a cult following, and Jason Sudeikis comes from New York to write an article about him because he was such a major fan because the influence that his music had on everybody. And she was very hesitant because she thought he was trying to write something negative. Watch out for the microphone.
I know.
It almost got you there.
But
Dead.
But it was a fantastic movie, and the only reason I'm mentioning it is because of the music that they actually had on the movie was from an artist called Damien Jurado. Look him up. That's the kind of music that I do in my head, and it's the lyrics, the music. It's just very. I don't know. It's very, very, very good music.
Who did you say it was?
Damien, Damien.
Hold on a second. I'm looking it up right now.
We will have
I
a
would,
live
but
look up.
My
Damien.
phone's up there on the
Yeah, our phones
Yeah.
are recording.
Damien,
so.
Damien, what was his last name?
Jurado.
Can you spell that?
Jurado.
J-U-R-A-D-O.
RADO.
So the music that goes
Is this
on.
that Rico Suave guy?
No, it's not actually. You would think it is, but it's
Oh,
not. I
okay.
promise. It's
Because
it will blow your mind.
And so, like, I'm
It's not even close.
Rico.
But
Suave.
his best song, in my opinion, is called Sheets.
Sheets. Hold on.
Sheets.
Sheets?
Yeah, like the bed
Sheets.
sheets.
Like between the sheets.
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds
Great
dirty.
song.
It's not.
Between the
It's-
sheets.
It sounds
It's-
like it.
I'm talking about the Earth, Wind, and Fire version.
Not
Between the
everybody
sheets.
sleeps in dirty
Okay.
sheets, Anna.
Okay. Okay. Sheets. All right.
We can be clean
From
between
the album
sheets.
Caught in the Trees from 2008. Am I allowed to play this?
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
have
how we're going to
licenses
hear it,
and
but
shit, whatever.
It's just a snippet.
That's it.
It's beautiful.
It is.
I did. That's nice.
That's really good. It's the
That's why you
lyrics,
like
too.
Oliver Anthony so much.
Yes, it's that just. He's still coming around. Still coming around like an injured bird.
All right.
Yes.
There you
That's
go.
nice.
It's nice.
I like that.
You're right. It's nothing like Gerardo.
Right.
Ave arriba, Rico
Yes,
Suave.
Andale, mama, oh.
No, that's Nelly.
Oh, okay.
That's Nelly, actually.
Yeah, what the
I don't know.
f-
I'm gonna get it left if I want to.
Hold on a
Get
second.
it left if I want to. Hey, dear.
Oh, there we go.
Dear.
This is the song I thought y'all were talking about.
Talking to my wife. Why are you so mean to me?
This is the Gerardo.
It's not an order, it's a request. Nightlight. It's a new one we just released.
That's Rico Suave.
So now,
Yeah.
By
Big
Gerardo.
difference, by the
Sorry.
way.
Big difference.
now
Big
your
difference.
your release. How many
Huge.
songs did you release?
5.
Five. And they're pretty badass. I mean,
They're pretty
you
good.
guys did a great freaking job.
Stop playing coy.
Thanks.
Let's get one of them on the microphone.
Pretty
We
good.
know you know how to
you
do
want me
it.
to get one on?
Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Okay, here we go.
I mean,
look,
hey.
we can't get sued from you
Yeah,
for
you, can't
you,
get sued
can
from
we?
me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's do this.
the
Just-
others we
Damn
might.
Hey,
Hold on a
just so
second.
you know, all the music we use on our Mead Talk is music I've done.
Nice.
Yeah, so anything that any of the tracks that you hear, it's all stuff that I've done.
Hell yeah.
That way, I don't have to, get any rights to do anything.
Right.
And we talked about this earlier because I don't want to deal with any lawyers or paying anybody or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
lawyers are assholes. Not all of them.
Not this guy over here.
According to his wife, he might be, but
Sunny side up and 1 foot in front of other. Another chance to rise and grind, reflect, maybe discover. A place inside of you to find and chill and listen to. Survivalistic aptitude, not victimistic attitude. Ain't trying to play the rude, just trying to be that dude. Adjust your mental attitude, get a mirror good old talking to. Discuss the who's and what's and musts of do's and don'ts. Don't ever give up, don't ever lose hope. Coffee in the morning, wake up smelling quick.
You know, it's like.
So
we
it's
come-
like actual real lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Not
You know
this
what
like
that-
bull
you know-
crap
you
that's
know
coming
what
out
that-
today.
you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
And I don't know if you're going to think this is an insult
If you
or
say third base.
no.
Turn around
There's
and
a
slap the shit
certain
out of you.
group that reminds me of that I used to listen to all the time.
Who
They're
that?
called Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone Thugs.
Yes.
I'm down with that. Bone.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Dear Mr. Ouija, I'd like to know my future of the bloody murder.
Yeah.
Come again.
Honestly, just between the voices, your voice and what's
Old timer.
Old Timer. He's you guys remind me of like Andre Nicotina, Andre 3000.
Yeah, we're like a mixed outcast.
and then
Basically,
yeah,
it's like Southern Kingalistic Calabama
Yeah,
voodoo
yeah.
is what we call it.
it's
Southern,
that is
Southern Kingalistic Calabama voodoo.
Alabama.
Yeah. So kind of slow the video down and write that all
That's
down.
like-
you can
Yeah.
pause if you need to.
I mean, if you had to, categorize me as like, thank you, baby, as like where I come from, that's me.
thank
Right.
you, child.
Because I lived in California for 7 years,
Right,
and then
Right.
was born and raised here in Alabama,
right,
and then moved back. And,
Yeah.
But a lot of my music influence was from California.
right.
Who doesn't
So
love some Blink 182?
yeah, so I'm more of like a
Don't
pop.
waste your time on me. You're just the
You know,
voice inside my head.
they
Actually,
got
it's
a
not
new album coming out.
Oh yeah, it's
Sum
really
41 also has a new album
wow.
coming out.
You-
Can't wait.
Yes.
well. Okay, so it's kind of interesting what's happening in the music world today. I believe.
Yes.
So I'm under the impression, right, listening to some of the things because I've got 6 kids, right, at all ages, from 7 to 20 right now, right, and so just seeing the differences in what they've listened to and how it's progressed, and then how it's regressing, right. So I'm under the impression that they've gotten to a point where the music that's being produced nowadays just sucks. Like the new stuff. Okay, well, I know, I understand. I've got a bias.
It's relative because I also feel like it has suck tendencies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these freaking somebody's spending money on it.
Well, but I think that it sucks because it's not really expressive in a form that's like poetic. It's not really music, and it's not.
This is.
But not everybody's here for that.
No,
like,
I understand. I understand.
And
they just want to like move the butt,
here for that. Yeah.
This is my. This is my consensus of the music that's out today. It is really hard to say it's music for one. Lyrically, it's just sex and drugs or money. And
a lot of music is about that, though.
But hasn't it always been?
No, but it's not.
I mean, let's not pretend that this is a new idea.
And then there's also the auto-tuning aspect because there's no talent anymore. They don't get people with talent. They get people they can parade around on stage to tell them to do what they want, and that gets fans. And it's like, what? Look, Blink-182, they have talent. 3 instruments, and they changed a generation.
Yeah, of music. Yeah, I mean they
for the worse. Like that's not an accomplishment.
I think it is.
Like, y'all remember that one guest we had that one time? His name was Will.
Like we should fucking celebrate. Hey, they made punk pop. Let's be happy. No.
Yes.
Why are we happy about
talent.
That
is
talent? Why are we happy
talent.
about that? I'm sorry.
Okay, so yeah, it's a simple talent, but
they're very talented
individuals.
individuals.
But you don't have that talent anymore. There's none of that exists today.
I think it's just taste, man.
Well, okay.
It's a rite of passage, though.
So,
like,
okay.
No, listen, follow me. It's a rite of passage. If the music was good, like if the old people deemed the music to be good, we would miss out on an entire rite of passage that involves being old and hating the music from the generations that come after us.
Yeah.
Did you ever hate Aerosmith?
It's a cyclical. I didn't like Aerosmith. I didn't really know shit about Aerosmith until Walk This Way came out. I mean, with Run DMC. Like that's just the real of it for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So. Yeah. So I understand. Where you're coming from with it. Because I understand that not everybody likes the music that I like. Right.
And listen, I don't want you to in any way, shape, form, or fashion think that I am condoning the dumb shit or the poor sounds to me that is being made and considered music today. I am right there 1,000% with you.
Yeah.
I just
I want.
Now, obviously, we have a difference of opinion on genres.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, not really. Like, I like a lot of the genres that you listen to.
I was gonna say
like a lot of the genres you like. I just don't like pop punk.
I don't know if you like. I don't know if you like Sublime.
I love Sublime.
But Sublime's like my shit. Right?
That's my jam.
Yeah.
So modern. I don't know if you've. I'm sure you have, but I'm sure you've heard Tom McDonald.
Who?
Tom McDonald.
I'm sorry. There's not an Al in here.
Okay, so he hasn't heard of ACAL.
Maybe I have. Like I don't get out much, and I don't listen to a lot of things.
He was #1. He had a #1 song on the charts, but he is
He is an independent artist.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love
he is
that.
100%
Above
independent.
Beyonce, above like everybody.
Yes,
Awesome.
And he's a rapper.
He's a rapper.
Right.
Does his own music, does his own videos, and then he has ACAL, which is Adam Calhoun, that he does a lot of collabs with.
But he raps about real stuff.
He does. It's not this, I rode around and I shot a bitch because she sucked his dick.
Would you call me on my cell phone?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I mean,
I can't.
I completely understand. I'm trying not to go into
Some of
this
it's
whole thing about. I'm trying to not go into this whole thing about how much of the presidents and the people in charge at major record labels, how much of their independent investments are in for-profit prisons.
No, we want to hear about all this, though.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't behoove them, really, to put out positive music
Yeah.
to a generation that they have intentionally help to decimate.
Okay.
Right.
It's much easier for them to put people in their prisons if there's only one parent, if things are very slanted in one direction or the other, if we're not getting along. All of those things are required for people to make money. And that's just the fundamental truth.
But
so
are
they don't put out good music because that doesn't help push people towards their system.
But yeah, their system. But can we have a different system?
Well, we can, but there's not enough people with balls to stand up and want to do something about it for real. Too many people like to bitch about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm with you on new music, in my opinion, sucking in large part, but it's a distraction. And I just, in general, like I love to talk about it, but I, in general, choose to focus my attention and my breaths for complaining about things that I find to be more time worthy.
I understand. I think it's important, though.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it. I'm just...
Yeah, I think it's
I
important.
just don't listen to it.
Yeah, I think it's important, though, because you come from an understanding where you've seen a lot of the stuff that a lot of people haven't seen, right? And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, you know, a lot of people don't really know what's going on behind the background of, like, the music industry and stuff like that. And who's really, you know, controlling that whole industry, because it's kind of one-sided, it seems.
Well, yeah. Like I said, man, do some research. You know, Ice Cube and a couple other cats are walking around speaking their truth.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sitting here pretending that I know anything about the hell that I'm talking about. It's just my little 2 cents worth. So there you go.
I understand.
Yeah.
I just sum it up. I'm sick of the non-talent,
Right.
and but you did say, you know, they have an agenda ish. And it doesn't play into their agenda if they provide quality music.
Right. And there's plenty of quality music for you to seek and find. You just told me told me on. So it's there.
It is.
You don't have to be. I choose to not be an active participant in the shitty music scene.
I don't
even let it cross my ears enough to be like, ooh, I don't like that. Because if I bitch about it enough, then I made them money. And screw them.
See,
So I just search out better
there's
music.
a difference of opinion, because I think I need to tell people if I've experienced it, and I don't like to experience it. It's mostly young people that I'm around that they have something going on, and I'm like, what the fuck are you listening to? It sounds like a cat dying. Turn it off.
Right.
You know, and then
We
it's
work
like,
with some young people like that.
and it's like, who is that? And then everybody else. But age.
It's the ringing in his ears.
Age understands talent and quality. And I'm like, no. Here, let me give you a perspective on what talent and quality is. And amazingly enough, when I actually play something that is of quality and talent, they're like,
okay,
wow, that's pretty good.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
And you know, we are of an age now where our people, and when I say our people, I mean our generation of people,
Right.
who were raised on questionable musical trends and ideas throughout our times, loving them to various degrees. Mm-hmm. Now we have children, and we've subjected our children either positively or negatively in our opinions to the music that we listened to when we grew up.
Right.
Right. And so it just goes in this...
It is. It's
you know,
cyclical.
and they're like, they're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to make some music that don't sound anything like that old people music that I just listened to.
One thing that's really interesting that's happened to me is, you know, my soon-to-be 18-year-old is become very fond of going to concerts and stuff. And when he, like back in the day, he was listening to like Ludacris and like just all sorts of like
Luda,
rap and trap and all that, you know, all about drugs and everything. And then, but now it's really cool because when he says he's going to a concert like here soon, like we just recently went to a Papa Roach concert here at Avondale Brewery.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, you want to go to a Papa Roach concert? Like that was my high school
Cut
days.
my life into pieces.
And then
this
and
is
then
my last resort.
yeah, and then he's like showing me the new album of the Blink-182 and everything, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like,
Right.
this is my high school days. What are you doing in my years? And then he's like dressing like all my friends and stuff, and like mullets are coming back, and
Been back. Yeah.
I mean, like hardcore.
It's
right?
awful.
I mean, it's
awful.
like we've reached a trend cap, and we can't figure anything else out. So we're like, well, let's rediscover all
We're
this stuff.
recycling.
Yeah.
You know, man, but when we were in high school, people wore bell bottoms
Yeah.
and wanted Volkswagen Vanagons, and I guess I'm older than y'all too.
Right.
How old are you?
Slightly.
I'm 34.
Yeah, see, you're young. How old
I'm
are you?
very young.
I'm 40.
Yeah, you too. I'm old as hell compared to y'all. I'll be 48 this year.
Oh man, we got a
That's
fucking
all-
Greek
It's
statue
all
up
relative
here.
to these freaking. You know, I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, you're 14 years older than me. That's a pretty wild
It's
distance.
a pretty wild.
That's
yeah.
that's definitely a
Yeah, you were
generational
like
difference.
Eating Paw Patrol, and I was eating 10 strips of acid.
I've never watched that except for with my kids.
Wait, you were or you
But-
are?
No, I do not trust people enough to eat LSD anymore. Now,
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
eat some damn grown up out of the cow patty
Right.
mushrooms.
Now, look.
Absolutely.
Now look,
God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Let's get down.
I've never taken acid before.
That's
Taken a lot of other things.
Right.
DMT, mushrooms for sure. I've had some pretty wild experiences,
Right.
but that is for a whole nother Mead Talk.
It's for this meat.
I could go off on just my experiences
Right.
for one whole Mead Talk,
Absolutely.
maybe two, right?
Absolutely.
But, that set aside, I think the trends, I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, okay, so, obviously, I am not, this is really not my opinion. It's just what I've observed,
Sure,
right? And I'm just
sure,
like kind of regurgitating what I
Right.
see going on. And, I've been, my entire life, I've been extremely analytical, right?
Right.
I'll just kind of like observe what other people do. And then I'm just like, okay, that's weird. That's cool. That's interesting, and then I've got like this whole record of my life of other people and how they act in my brain.
Right.
And so when I come at, these ideas and these ideals and the way that I express, what I express, it's from just a purely observational, experiential,
Certainly.
deal, right?
Yeah.
And so, but
And they're beautiful opinions, by the way.
oh, thank you. I appreciate
just thought I'd
that.
tell you.
I try to make sense, but also
You
here's
do.
the crazy thing. I try to listen to people,
Sure.
especially like people that are older than me. And here's
Right.
where I think generations.
Was that like a backhand? Was
No,
that like
no.
Was that like a,
No.
what do they call that? Was that like a backhanded compliment or some shit?
a backhanded
'Cause
comment?
I'm pretty sure that he just like
A backhanded
caught me with
comment?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that he just like caught me with a fresh one. He was like, especially people older than me.
I mean,
Like,
hey, we can rewind it about 3 minutes, and you said, "Oh, I'm way older than you."
well, listen, bruh, you know damn well good enough that like me saying I'm old,
And then me
you
saying it.
that I'm old, you know what I'm saying? It's like if
It's
your
a little
wife-
bit
it's like
different.
if your
I
wife
understand.
says-
Hey,
if
hey.
your wife says,
Here's
this, I feel so fat.
Here's the thing.
if she says that, it's okay.
But if I
you
say it-
baby, you're fat,
Then she might start
Yeah,
working out.
say, Oh,
Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Wow.
My wife's in here right now, so that was probably the
Right.
wong comment to make. But
I appreciate
hey.
sex way more than you do.
So, but no, I mean, I thought you were the same age as me. I mean, let's be honest.
No, I appreciate that.
But
I don't really feel old.
I mean,
Well, I take that back. I do feel like my
You have
body.
you
I've got
experience.
some. Yeah, man. I've got some. I've got some miles on the tires.
when
I don't want to
you wake up in the
I
morning
don't
and
want to
you're
say that I've been ridden hard and put away wet because you will totally take that the wrong way. but you know what I'm saying? But I've been through some things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But so back,
there was a time that I was on blocks and they stole my shits. Like there was, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been down like that.
So, but like what I was saying was, you know, the difference, you know, I see between a lot of people or just our generational gap, not between us, but like just generational gap in like across the board, right?
Right.
Nowadays, it's much more difficult for younger generations to listen to older generations for wisdom, right? And I think it's extremely important, right? And we had a philosophy talk about this one day.
Yep.
Where we were talking about, does wisdom come from, you know, age, or does it come from experience? And I think it's all experiential. But, you know, obviously experience comes over time normally, right? And I think that wisdom is lost because we have such an easy brought up generation, especially here in like, you know, Western countries where the generations are brought up much better than what we were brought up as. And so they don't have any real struggles for the most part, you know. A lot of our generations don't. Now they have different struggles. I understand that, but they don't really challenge them in the way that we were challenged, right? Like you were challenged a good bit as a you know, as a young person in your life, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I would go to say that, you know, most people in this room were challenged pretty, you know, had a challenging childhood.
Sure.
Not just emotionally, but physically and, you know, everything else. But nowadays, it seems to me that, you know, our children and our generations, they have it a lot easier than we do, for the most part. I think there's different challenges.
No, I think it's way harder to be a fucking kid today than it was when I was a kid. Absolutely.
Why is that?
Well, because they're so overexposed to so many. We didn't have the stimuluses.
Okay.
You know, it's very easy for us to say that, we went outside and we played and we rode our bikes and we didn't come home till the street lights were on and da-da-da-da-da. But for me, wisdom, at least as it comes out of my mouth, is overrated.
Okay.
Because it's more perspective than it is wisdom. I've gained experience through perspective through experience, and I've learned some things. You know, but I don't really. I guess at the end of the day, a whole lot of it with young people has to deal with the approach, and you can either sound like a crouchy old shit.
Yeah.
Lecturing the same way that your great-grandfather did you when he told y'all that you were just worthless, lazy pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Right. But
we were.
When you look back on it, we were. Was he wrong?
Well,
no.
but ultimately, my generation, your generation, you made shitty children.
Yeah.
Like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
I agree.
Like, that's
I agree.
That's we are the exception. We have, and I'm not saying y'all don't have awesome children and you're not doing your part.
I'm not.
You just said that. No, I'm
but I'm just talking about it's our generation.
Yeah, we
is the generation
societal.
Yes,
no, I agree.
I
agree.
If you need a child that has to have a room to pet a dog,
right? No, not even before that. Let's take it back a little bit. Even before then, like.
Now he's talking about my generation.
And I'm gonna make us French for a second and say we, because it wasn't me. We came out with this timeout. So who the fuck gets who put somebody in timeout? The hell is that? But we came up with that.
Yeah.
Like that's our. We have no.
I would say we went wrong
overall.
With I would say we went wrong with letting psychologists and the governmental bodies intrude into that aspect of our lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they're the ones that decided, hey, you can't spank your children. That's horrible.
I just had a conversation about this very topic with my
No, but you still
father-in-law today.
You still have the choice to spank your child or not spank the child.
And my father-in-law
Here in
told-
Alabama, yes.
My
Them be
father-in-law looked at me
damned.
and said, "Hey, I just, he said, I told my daughter, but I don't think I've told you." He said, "The impact that y'all have had on these kids is great. Like the way that you're raising them up is phenomenal." I said, "Well, I appreciate that, man." I said, and he knows that we discipline our kids. And I went through that conversation. I said, "There's a difference between abusing your child and disciplining your child."
Absolutely.
And that's where society doesn't quite grasp the concept of disciplining a child. It's like you can't tell a child, no, they are inept to do the opposite of what you say. Your job as a parent is to correct that.
So we're pretty lucky to live in Alabama, right, where we can do that.
Yes.
Right. Other states you can't do that.
California.
Right? Yeah, I lived in
Can't touch
California
a
for
child.
7 years.
Yep. Been there, done that.
Yeah, and it's like, your child can call the police on
Right.
you, whatever, once
Right.
they reach, like, basically 11, 12 years old.
Right.
And even if, like, you're not really abusing them, you're just like, hey, you can't have your controller for, like, a week. They call it abuse, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It gets kind of ridiculous, but that is
Sure.
government regulation over that.
Well, and I mean, you can make it. There are millions and millions of people who choose to live under that, in and under those rules and situations.
Right. Yep.
You guys decided to bounce, and that's the beautiful thing about choice. And that's really the key.
I see the
It's-
wireless mic.
It's really the key to it all and to everything is choice. It's the
Yes.
beautiful thing about
I'm gonna go to
being
the
us
bathroom.
is that you get to wake up. You have the ability
We're in America.
every day that you wake up. You have the ability to make a choice,
You do.
and you choose to be awesome and have an awesome day,
Yep.
or to suck and have a sucky day.
And try to bring people down with you.
But every
misery
day
loves company.
is a choice.
Yeah. Bo, do you?
Yes. I got a question.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
we've got a question from the audience. Hey, Bo.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Shit, man, what's happening?
So, in talking with society and the way that we discipline our children,
Right.
and some people do take it too far.
Yes. Again, a difference between discipline and abuse.
Right. But what we don't look at is how autism and ADHD has run rampant in our society in the last 20, 30 years.
Whole different Mead Talk as to why that exists.
But hang on.
But yes,
It-
go ahead.
A lot of it stems from, and in my opinion, the food that we give our children
Absolutely.
and all the different preservatives that are in our food that are not in other countries.
It's not
Facts.
just food. There's a lot
So-
of jabs they get.
When we as parents don't educate ourselves
Right.
on what we're putting in our children,
Yep.
and it inversely impacts our sociology, what do you do there? Do you discipline because you can't control?
I think you said it. It really is important for us as parents to educate ourselves. There's certain signs you have to
Oh,
find.
yeah.
There's certain things you have to look for. And when you've tried certain tactics that, our parents or our grandparents have tried and they don't work, and you start seeing certain patterns or you see certain things, you have to be educated enough to know that there may be something different. And it's not that we as parents cause that. It's simply the fact, and I say this because I do have a situation with a 9-year-old. Just recently,
So
found that he may be autistic.
so let me pose this question.
Yeah.
Did we create shitty children,
No.
or did we fail our kids by not educating ourselves?
We actually
Neither.
a different aspect.
So
on
there's
that.
a
We did not fail our kids. Wow, this is a whole other.
Well,
big
no,
talk.
no, no.
Listen,
So
listen,
no,
if
this
you-
is a great.
If you were at home and doing the best that you can on a day in and day out basis for your children, regardless of the situation, you're not failing your children at all
So
ever.
There's
Because
a-
all you can really do is what you can do. I think that part of our discipline problem is the fact that a lot of parents are afraid to start under normal circumstances, are afraid to start early, like early on. And you're like, your child is 2 and acting a fucking fool. And you're like, oh, well, he or she is just 2. Well, you're accepting at that moment, you are accepting the fact that this is acceptable behavior because of an age or a circumstance. You're accepting it. I'm not saying that you should snatch any 2-year-old up and whip its ass and da-da-da-da-da-da. But there are subtle ways, because children don't understand, little kids don't understand respect.
Right.
They don't. They have the, like, at 2, 3,
and
4 years old, you have no real concept of, I shouldn't do the right thing.
That's what I was saying.
Because
I think
it's the right.
Okay, and so not to take
a wrong thing.
Okay, so not to take the blame off of most parents, right? But there are certain, and so just so you guys know, this is coming from a background of studying these types of things, and hereditary things and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
There are certain hereditary characteristics that evolve in your children over time. And I hate to say it like that, but because there's a lot of people out there that think that, nurture versus nature, all this, atheistic stuff,
sure,
which is okay. I believe a certain amount of that is valid, right? But there are some things, some characteristics that evolve in your children that are hereditary. There's like 400 different traits, right, that they will come up with at some point in their life that is designed within them.
Sure.
Based off the parents of that child. Right? And so, junk DNA is completely different. We can get into that, but we don't have that much time. I'm going to explain it pretty quickly, but this is different. But
I'm just saying that when we didn't have a huge problem with dumbassery and general dumbassery in school, it was a generally accepted practice of discipline,
yes,
and respect and transfer.
Go.
Shit was different. It was different.
Turn the mic on.
Is it on?
So,
Yep.
Yeah, it's on.
So I personally think with most things in society, we are experiencing the pendulum swing, if you will. Because a lot of us, I know in my house, if you mess up, you got your ass beat.
Yep.
You did not have an opinion. You did not speak unless you were spoken to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we have an entire generation of people who grew up with absolutely no voice, with no ability to have emotional conversations or express emotions or to even, have opinions about anything. And so we don't want to raise kids who felt so insignificant like we did. So now the pendulum has swung so hard and so fast that we're kind of like out of control because we went from one extreme to the other.
Right.
And you can say that about many things that we're experiencing in society. Like it's just a pendulum swing effect.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
So yes, with the kid and I have 4 boys, and my boy's at my house. I have one that complains about a scratch on his arm. Man up. And I do the same thing that I was taught. And you're saying, as children we didn't have opinions and stuff. We shouldn't. Why shouldn't we have opinions? Because we haven't had the correct guidance. We don't have the proper knowledge or the proper wisdom to instill anything in society.
I think he wants to say something about that.
Go ahead, Will.
I think that's a little bit insane. But before I'm not being argumentative, and I can't speak to your particular set of circumstances, and that's the beautiful thing about it all, is that I can only speak from, and I'm speaking from a place where I was woken up with a cast iron fire poker on the back side of me because I put another log on the fire because we didn't have no power, and that's how we kept our house warm. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm speaking from I got my ass like more than beat position.
I mean, it goes back to the abuse versus discipline.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so inherently, I do understand that I do have something inside of me, that I do have anger issues, and I do have a problem I have to control. So I never let me, she never let me discipline my children from a place of anger.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a good-
And
that's
I had
good.
to make, and I made a conscious choice of understanding. Now, I only had to put my hands on my kids like 2-3 times tops. Like
That's awesome.
I haven't had to whoop my children since they was like, I think my oldest was maybe he was in the 2nd grade, 3rd grade.
I
and
just
he
whooped
caught-
my
and he caught
20-year-old
one,
the other day.
and he,
No.
you know what I'm saying? And that's only, and it really because he left his sister. And I told him under no circumstance ever do you leave your sister. And I told her, and I had to whoop his sister's ass too, who was younger than him, because I was like, listen, don't leave your brother. Right. You know, this is the, so it was more of a, you guys didn't stick together. Some bad shit could have happened.
Right.
Now you got to catch this.
Well, the pain of losing your
but
sibling would have been worse than the pain of them getting a whooping.
Absolutely. So I understand coming from a place of them telling me that I didn't have an opinion, from them not believing that I should have an opinion, and this and that and the other thing. Did it stop you? Like, did it stop you? Like,
No.
you were told not to have an opinion. You were told you couldn't form opinions. You were told that you couldn't, that you didn't have one because you were young. But did any of that stop you from forming opinions and from having opinions and from growing and becoming who you are? And I'm asking. I'm not. right.
Rat 'em.
She became Rage Against the Machine's
Sure.
Rat 'em.
mascot.
Oh, and let me tell you something. When they came to town, I think it was for the first time after Evil Empire came out, and they were at Sloss Furnace, and like I was down like 3rd row, and I'm a guy who kind of was on the outside of the pit at Nirvana at Boutwell, and kind of the way that went. Never really huge into my scene. But let me tell you what, I got caught in the middle of that nonsense where the lights went out and Bulls on Parade started, and the shit just got fucking crazy. I couldn't get out fast enough. And that has nothing to do with anything. Because, like, I'm not the guy, like, I don't go to haunted houses because, like, if you jump at me or come at me with a chainsaw or something, like, I'm going to turn around and fight. Like, I'm not running from nobody, so I don't go because
Oh, he's down to clown.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I have been scared enough in my life from situations and experiences that I derive no joy from the feeling of fright and afraid. It's useless to me. It initiates a fight thing in me.
It's extremely important to me.
Sorry, I just hijacked your whole thing, and I feel bad about
No.
it.
That's why you're up here.
We can edit it out. It's okay. No,
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm
we're
just
not
kidding.
going to edit anything. Honestly, no,
We
no.
don't, actually, no.
No, I mean look, that's why you're here,
Yeah, and-
because we
and
know you
now-
have
now
valid opinions.
I agree a lot with what you said, and going back to what she said about how we were controlled and you can't have an opinion, and I'll be honest, that's how I'm raising my kids. You're a child. I know better. I know more. I've lived it. Listen to what I say. You will make your own decisions. You will make your own mistakes.
Well,
And I'm not saying that I'm not here to help you pick up the pieces, but
she's right. That's parenting. I mean, you're doing your job.
it is.
So-
And that's what
but
that's
that
what they
doesn't-
did to us. That's why they told us those things.
So I'm kind of in
That's why we
between.
were raised that way.
yeah, so I'm
I'm
kind of
no.
I'm not on- I'm
I
not
had the
on-
switch on me quite a few times. My kids have also had the switch, but that's
yeah.
I think that has to do with experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I'm kind of in between in all this, right? So sometimes, just depending on the situation, I allow my children to make their own mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Fair.
On the other
Absolutely.
hand, I have to step in and say something at minimal. And if it becomes increasingly a problem, I have to step up and say, look, I really don't want to do this. And I tell my children all the time, I don't want to have to whoop you. I don't. Like, this is not my favorite thing to do, you know? It's not like, oh, yeah, I wake up every day just, like, excited to whoop your ass, you know? But if it gets to this point, and you know the point,
I enjoy it.
and every one of them knows the point at which they will get a butt whooping, you know? And if you cross that line, this is what happens. And here's why. Because if you do this in real life when you're an adult, you're going to get arrested. If you do this in real life when you're an adult, you're going to get beat the frick up. Somebody's going to knock your teeth out.
Right.
And I'm not going to be there to protect you at that
Right.
time. So what's going to happen? I need you to understand that this is minimal compared to what's going to happen in the real world. Okay? And my kids go extreme on us all the time. Like, I mean, they just go full throttle, crazy all the time, right? So
Insane.
it's
Clown
like,
posse,
you know, I mean,
just
with 6 of them, you know, it gets pretty wild.
Watch the world
quite
burn.
often, right? And so, and you
I
know,
met his kids.
yeah, they're pretty wild. Hey,
He's
your
met
kids
mine.
are pretty damn wild
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Okay,
That's a lot of cheers.
but
a lot of cheers.
but I understand. Most of them are 5 boys, 1 girl. Most of them are boys. Boys tend to be pretty wild, and that's okay. I allow them that wildness, right? Because I think it's important to grow their neurological development. I think it's important for them to wild out every once in a while. So yes, I do. But, you know, she's a little wilder than the rest of them. So, you know, her discipline is a little bit different too. You know, it's more verbal, it's more emotional, more so than physical with the boys, right?
Don't
Is
have
that
a girl.
because it's more? Is that because of what? Is that for you or for her?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because
Girls
you know.
just wanna have fun.
Well,
because
okay,
they're all
so
about-
with her,
I'm talking about the dishing.
I'll give you an
'cause, look,
I'll give you an example.
I hated whipping my daughters.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I,
it
like,
sucks.
I feel
it's
you.
way different
Sucks.
than a boy.
Okay,
Yeah.
for her, it's more of me being there for a longer period of time through the discipline process to talk her through it, but also, hey, like, and not all of it's physical, right? It's just like, it's a ridiculous process of her, you know, going through her anxieties and her emotions and her, you know, crying, all that stuff that's all involved. And it's like, okay, I've just got to spend 20 extra minutes with her than I do the boys, you know, because with the boys, it's like, okay, whip, here's why this happened. This is what, you know, happened. This is why you need to do things differently.
Yeah, and that's what
With
like,
her, it's like, oh, we got to go through all this emotional process,
yeah,
right?
Why did it have? What it,
Yeah.
And when Will was talking, like, you know, Stephanie will not allow you to discipline your children when you're angry.
Well,
And that's that's
let's-
important.
No, hold on, let's be clear. Stephanie doesn't allow me to do anything,
Yes.
and I don't allow Stephanie to do anything.
Right.
I think that it's very important, especially when you're young and before you have children, to make sure that you are somewhat on the same page of what you want to do and how you want to do it. Because however you're going to do it and
absolutely.
however you want to do it,
Yes.
you have to present a 1,000% unified front.
That's fucking weird, dude.
Because if you don't,
There's a big conflict.
there's a huge conflict.
Yes.
And children are smart. And
Oh,
if they
yeah.
and
They will play on
if you
that.
raise them properly,
Yep.
they will use that shit against you.
Exactly.
You hear that, baby? We have to be like the army that's about to go against Hamas
That's
right now.
where the whole go ask your mama, go ask your dad came to fruition.
It's and you know what's crazy about my kids? And I say they're kids. They're still younger. They're one's about
Look,
to
your
be
kids are
young
great.
adults.
one's about to be 18.
Yeah.
One just turns 15, and
Right.
one's 13. Like I'm the fun one.
Yeah.
Like at the end
The
of the
dads
day,
usually are.
I'm
yeah.
the
Yes.
fun one. Like I was the hard ass. I was absolutely what little disciplinarian there was. I was the hunter gatherer. She was the nurturer.
Right.
It worked for us, and I still nurtured my kids as well. I just didn't have a man in my life ever
Yeah.
that nurtured me.
Yeah.
So it was a coming of age experience for me to be able to open up emotionally with my
that's where I
them
was getting
in
So,
that way.
when I have to discipline my kids, it is absolutely a good idea to never do it out of anger. They may mess up, and they may mess up big.
Yeah.
You
But you have to be calm.
You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to step back and give that time for everything to
Yeah,
process.
I mean, if you want to whip that ass, then you're still going to want to whip that ass 3 hours
yeah,
later.
exactly.
That's just
And when you do,
Yeah.
and I have done that, I have pulled them aside and said, "I'm going to discipline you now." I've told them, "I'm gonna."
and let's be honest, isn't the weight way more?
Oh,
way
the
more-
anticipation.
way more the
anticipation.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is
man.
so much worse
But I
than
have
the
done it,
actual.
and then,
Oh, man.
and then afterwards, I have pulled them aside and I said, "Do you understand why I have to do this?" "No, sir." I said, "Because it's my job to make sure that you grow up to be respectable young men. That is my job." I said, "I need you to see how I treat your mother. And when you mess up, I need you to understand where you messed up, why you messed up, and how that is not acceptable in
Yep.
society when you get older."
Not just in society, but in a relationship with family, with anybody that's around you. We have to learn to be okay with other people being around us doing what they do, as long as it's not threatening to our lives, you know?
It really comes back to the other founding fundamental.
Here we go.
I'm not getting undressed for real.
Hey, it's the
Hopefully, I
stage.
don't
I'm
want-
just
I don't want
saying.
you to-
You got dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills. Love everybody.
Love everybody.
Especially the people that
beautiful.
you find hardest to love.
And you know what? That's even biblical.
All of
Yes.
them. Because
What is love?
especially if you're going to come at
Baby,
me
don't
in any
hurt
way,
me.
shape, form, or fashion
Hurt me.
with your Bible and your theology,
Yes.
you have to understand that after I am the Lord your God, you shall have no other gods before me.
Exactly.
The second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor.
Love your
It is.
neighbor.
It's not to judge your neighbor.
Nope.
It's not to tell your neighbor that you're going to go to hell
Nope.
if you don't do what you think is the right thing to do.
Right.
You just love them.
You love them.
And it's
Yeah.
and once again, it's hard. And people like I've been challenged.
Yeah.
People like you love the da da da, and I'm like,
Yeah.
at least
love them.
through a conversation or two, so that I can try to gain some perspective
Right.
and see if there's. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna love you as a human being.
Yes.
I may not like it. I don't like what you do. I don't like who you are.
Hey.
But if I turn my back, I just feel like if I just, at some point in time, shitty people, somebody turned their back on them
Right.
Yeah.
and helped turn them into a shitty person.
I was
And
gonna
I
say, a
just
lot
feel
of-
like I always need to be open
Yes.
to if that person,
And
if a
I
hug
meet
makes
somebody-
a difference in their life, and
So
I can
this is-
stop them from being less shitty, then
one of the things that I think about when I meet somebody, and especially people that I meet somebody and people have told me, "Oh, well, he's an asshole," or he's the only thing
me,
I
I
can
am an
think,
asshole.
and I even thought it when I met you, Will.
You should have.
And the only thing
I
that
have
went
some
through my
asshole
head
tendencies.
was, "He who is without sin cast the first stone."
Basically.
Bam.
And then he might be an asshole,
That's a mic drop moment.
but he's a puckered asshole, and that's a nice asshole.
But honest.
Sometimes
He
I'm
is.
bleached.
He is.
I mean,
Yeah.
But we understand that
Undisclosed
honesty.
Videos on.
you can
Pornhub.
edit that part. I don't want to know it. I don't want anybody to know my
He's got,
secrets.
he's got bad knees, from what I hear. No.
I was told I didn't have to divulge that information in order to get the State Farm discount.
Right. Jared likes that
Yeah,
information.
so
though.
I just qualify for being me. Yeah, man.
But do you see what I mean? Where we just kind of went like wherever the Mead Talk goes. We started off with food and music. We ended up and children, raising your children, parenthood, and all that stuff. I mean, where the heck did that come from? But I mean, it's important, and that's why we have these Mead Talks. We think is extremely important for people to gather together and talk, especially with mead in their system.
Well, listen, if you ever want somebody to like squirrel some shit, I'm your guy. I mean, sign me up.
Oh, we're gonna have you back on.
I'm your guy.
Yeah, we got to get you back on.
Yeah,
we got to get back on the radio too, man.
You should come back on the radio. I mean, like I've told you.
Look,
and I'll tell you again in front of the camera.
Just let me know.
Yeah. Like
I said that many a time.
And that's why we love you, and that's why we're excited because you have been such a help to us. I mean,
I was gonna say that's the part where he doesn't realize how much he's helped us.
Yeah,
is because he's
no, it just makes my skin crawl. Like really, at the end of the day, like I come from a place where I'm okay. We've talked about this. Like I'm okay with tell me about my asshole tendencies and that I'm mean and you know da. Like that generally disparage me. Look, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I come from. But when we start doing some praising, some back patting and whatnot, it makes a brother.
Well, it gets a little uncomfortable talking sweet, you know.
Yeah, makes me a little uncomfortable.
He's all about love everybody, but we talk about how Will loves everybody.
Listen,
and he's like, you know what?
But okay, so one of the things,
at the end of the day, I'll make this announcement. It's crazy, and there are lots of people who have this problem. Like, I just don't really, what it is or whatever it is that most of you see in me, I don't see it. I don't have the same love for myself that you guys do, and I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on it, but like I'm just not there yet. So
I understand.
Just come on the radio, and we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah,
well, I
absolutely.
mean, so I think that it's extremely important to have these conversations.
And we'll do
difficult,
certainly.
So, like, I'm interested. So this is where I really wanted to start this talk, right?
Right.
I'm interested in how people think, right? So I started to study back when I was in the Army.
So we're just getting started.
Yeah, I started to study back when I was in the Army.
Mead wrench.
Terry, I think that's you. What would you like?
I guess I'll try a freedom.
We don't have any freedom right now.
I know. I know. I was making.
You want a nightlight? Have you tried the nightlight?
Whole thing out of that. No, just give me the cherry thing.
The cherry, Mary cherry.
Yeah, the Mary cherry.
But yeah, so I started, back in the day when I lived with 200 crazy people when I was in the Army, right? So I started a very extensive social experiment to see how people react to different circumstances and what I said versus, what came around and all these different things. I'm interested in how people think and why they think the way they think. And I think it's extremely important for us to have difficult conversations. And here's why. Because if we don't have uncomfortable conversations, we become comfortable in our own areas.
Yeah.
Right? And whenever anybody says anything that may be uncomfortable to us, there's a bunch of tension that's already built.
No, there's no tension.
Right?
No tension.
Well, there is in a lot of people's minds. And here's why. Is because the mind naturally fills gaps, right? So when you don't know something, what happens is you fill that gap with information that you believe is true, right?
It's called assumptions.
Yeah, there's a lot of assumptions in the world about different people around us and how they think.
Sure, and they make asses out of you and me.
And there's like an identity crisis that happens there, right? When you have two people that come into a room that think differently and they're not able to talk to each other and all there is clash. Well, the reason is because you haven't had any uncomfortable conversations ever, really. It's difficult for a lot of people to have uncomfortable conversations, and I think it's extremely important, which is why I wanted to start this, because I want to have those uncomfortable conversations. I want people to be able to understand how other people think.
If we have an opinion and you have an opposing opinion, you can talk about it, you can scream about it, you can yell about it.
Absolutely.
We're okay
but
with
at
that.
the same
Yeah.
time, just talk about it.
Sure. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
That's
but
what
I-
America's about.
And I
man.
love it. That's part of why I'm here. It's part of the reason why we named our show Breaking Bread.
Breaking
Yes.
bread, dude.
Because we
That's
just wanted
amazing.
we just want to sit down and have
Amazing.
You know, the
show.
only reason
conversation.
that the only reason I don't like that name is because I didn't come up with it first.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Is it trademarked?
It's beautiful.
He's like, it is now.
No, it's not. We
No,
were
it's
not
beautiful.
But you can't take that from you. I mean, you own it. I mean,
It's no, and so I've had this inherent belief. It didn't come from being around 200 crazy people in the army,
right.
you know. But I've always held an inherent belief that the only two things that consistently bring people together are food and music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if we can bring people to the table to have a conversation over some good food, which is part of where my passion for cooking for people, and like I love to have people in my house and Sunday, you know what I'm saying? I love to cook for big groups of people. I love to see the smile on their faces.
You told me.
I just don't like. I generally.
I'm
try
just
to
waiting for
dip
the
a little
invite.
bit after that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've told you. Anytime that we're eating, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. You told me
But no,
Sunday
honestly,
nights, you know.
Breaking bread, honestly, I think biblically, because the Last Supper, they
Right.
broke bread.
Right.
Well,
you
every
know.
time, Jesus broke bread was extremely important.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And
the
he only
message
did
that
it-
he delivered.
He
Sure.
didn't do it that often in the Bible either.
No. But people were brought together over
He
things
snacked.
that yeah,
He
Oh, yeah.
snacked in between
people
did.
that
between important
He
meals.
did.
Thank you, baby.
A lot of
So-
olives.
But people
for
have been
you.
brought together by many things that they consume, and that's one of the principles behind Mead Talk, right? Is that we're consuming a particular thing that brings us together, where we're able to talk about even the most difficult things and have an understanding about how people think, and that's why I'm extremely excited to bring people from all walks of life onto this show, but also introduce the audience to where they can have their own opinions. Because look, no opinion is above me. I mean, like, I don't think anybody can ever bring anything to the table where I'll be like, okay, that's fucking crazy, but okay, I see how you think, you know?
There's a
You know
reason
what I
we call
mean?
it opinions. Nobody up here is saying we have facts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, so there are certain facts, but
Right. We're not saying that.
yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think that anybody, like, I don't think anything can, I don't think anybody can bring anything to the table where I'll be just, like, extremely surprised about how they think. Because I've been at all extremes of what people think. Like, I myself have been at those extremes
Right.
versus seeing other people at those extremes. I mean, I've been on the verge of, suicide. I've been on the verge of, like, a lot of different experiences of life. And not only that, but I've seen those people in those instances as well and experienced that from a wide view. And so it's like, whatever you bring to the table, hey, we're here for you.
Yeah.
We see you. We understand, and that's what it's all about,
I pretty much only shut down like I don't really feel like I jive with like a person who is like, can I talk to you about the Church of Satan? Like that's
Yeah,
not really like
Yeah, but I'll
like
Hey.
for me personally,
Yeah.
that's kind of like a non-starter. Like
But-
I don't really
Yeah.
feel like I can and then like if you roll up on me, with
But
a
here's-
freaking skinhead with a freaking swastika and the
On your
Confederate
forehead,
flag
you're
on your
like,
forehead. There's a good chance I probably
I don't. Hey, look, I don't jive with them as well, but I'll listen to them.
well, I
that
mean,
that
I will listen
67-page
for a minute,
document
for
of the
sure.
Satanist document I read. Okay,
Sure.
so it's
Hey.
the Satanist Bible. It's like I think it's maybe
Yeah.
67 to 69 pages long, and it's very short. And basically, what it says is do what you want to do,
Yeah.
regardless of what everybody else
It
says.
really coincides with Scientology.
That's another meat talk, but
Yeah, it is.
and so, but like and I'll be there. I'll listen. Hey,
You're like Michael
we-
Jackson.
See you in a
Thank you,
couple weeks,
sir.
brother.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. Maybe next
Hey
week.
man, thank you.
You know.
I appreciate.
We'll get you
I
on the Mead
appreciate.
Talk.
I appreciate
Hell
your
yeah.
opinion.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's important to hear everybody out, even if you have a difference of opinions.
Sure.
Jesus sat with the sinners. Obviously, he was
Yeah.
pure, but he sat with the sinners. And the reason is because a doctor doesn't need to be present if nobody's sick, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And so
people are in church because they're not well.
Yeah, because
Like,
they're
nobody
hypocrites.
nobody goes. But see, yeah. Like,
I'm a hypocrite.
well, yeah. I mean, and acknowledging that is like, that doesn't make it any. I don't know. That doesn't make it any better.
It doesn't.
Acknowledging, like Anna tells me all the time that like I'm mean sometimes to some people. I'm mean, and like I don't care. I do care. I don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
No, that's
No, it's
recently.
well, that's an honest opinion. I mean, so like people tell me I don't
I'm not
care.
saying that. I'm not saying.
And
that
I'll tell
negatively.
people-
I just
I'll tell people that I don't care, but I do care, but I care for the right reasons, not for the reason that they want me to care.
right.
Mostly,
Yep.
right? Right. So, and I think it's important to care for the right reasons, and not over some bullcrap, that doesn't really matter. Exactly. Yeah, and that's valid.
Anna knows about you being an asshole to
And
somebody
and
else.
look, I'm working on that, and I, every single day, Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah. Well, and a lot of people.
No, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't care. Like,
Yeah, I
whether
completely agree.
whether you think whether you like me or you
Like,
don't
here's-
like me is of.
But
At
yeah.
the end of the day, it's really of no
Yeah.
real consequence. Like I don't hate it. Like there are unlikable things about me. Cool, I get it.
But here's the
I
difference of caring in the right sense and caring in the wrong sense, right? So like, I don't care what you think. Just like what you said, I don't care about what you think about me, but I care that you're having issues, and I care, and I understand that you're having issues.
And I would love to talk through them, just
Yeah,
like you would. I'm
exactly.
sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's all about-
obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like I don't care about you as an individual. It's that I don't care how you perceive me to be mostly. Like and because most people take that as like a personal offense, right? So
Well,
most people
just have a tendency to get offended.
yeah, because they're very
It's-
egotistical.
Well, yeah, and they just
And I mean,
they
all of
have-
us
they
have an ego.
sleeves. They have sleeves with feelings,
And I
it's-
think
Yeah.
the biggest thing is
I myself. I mean, I'm guilty myself.
it's
I'm
not that I don't love you as who you are. Just because I don't agree with you, or I may come across as an asshole because of your beliefs, it has nothing to do with how I perceive you. Like, I love you as an individual. We may have a conflict of interest, and that's where this is.
I mean, I'm
let's
not
talk about it.
not going to treat you any differently.
No.
it's-
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we've gone 20 minutes over our
Yep.
Mead Talk.
That's what we do. We really need to extend these to 2 hours.
I know,
dude.
right?
We gotta, yeah. We need
There's
to.
a lot to talk about. Hey, Will, thank you
Hey,
so
listen,
much.
Just cut half of it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We'll do
It'll be
2
all-
parts.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, we appreciate you coming on, man.
No, thanks for having
This has
me.
been
Appreciate you.
fantastic. This has been extremely informative. We had a lot of good conversations.
Did
I
we
told
know?
you.
Did we really talk about anything that made sense?
We did.
Yes.
though.
I'm gonna have to listen back.
You're gonna
You
have to
will.
listen back because it made a lot of sense, and
Did it
there's a
make
lot.
sense?
There's a lot of
But,
information
hey,
in
but
here.
you know what's nice?
What?
He said us on the radio so many times, and now we have him here. So it's like a
It's
a
really
full
cool.
circle. Yeah.
This
really
is
cool.
way cooler than y'all coming to see me. Absolutely.
But yours costs so much more.
Well, just you know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
it's this is a fun thing to do. It's
Yeah.
fun to just get together, drink some mead, and talk.
I like
it's really
it.
cool. So hey, we appreciate everybody
Appreciate
out here.
y'all.
Y'all have a
Thank
good
you
night.
so
Thank
much.
y'all. Don't
Join
hate me
us.
because I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
Join us
Other
on the
reasons.
next.
Nice.
Join us on the next Mead Talk, man. And just so everybody knows, whoever's out there that's listening, every single royalty member gets 50 extra points added to their royalty club membership. I posted that this week,
Yep.
just so you guys know. And next Mead Talk, we talk theology with a particular individual that we've had up here on stage, Marshall.
Yep.
which will be freaking awesome.
gonna
we'll
be
have
a
to get
good
we'll have
Mead
to get
Talk.
Will the Chubfather back up here another time.
Absolutely.
Because we got so much more to talk about. Thank you so,
So
much,
much
Will.
more.
Love y'all. Thank you very much.
Do you want to do the ending?
What's the ending?
Feed the people. Feed the people.
Feed the people.
Feed the people.
Peace.
Peace.